creak. Actually, you didn't get to hear it. Didn't get to hear as my chair creaks as I spin around and we get ready for another episode of Chilling with the Cooler. So, there you go. Maybe you got to hear it that time. This camera seems awfully low. If I sit... Yeah, well, no, that's right. If I sit back, I fit in the zoom, in the frame. Old thing that Matt taught me, or ingrained in me at Mini Wargaming, to not have very much headroom between the camera and where you're standing. And the same goes for pictures, which, having done a bit of photography, can tell you that that is the case. You don't want, like, that. This is how high you would be with this much space. Well, maybe that much. But anyway, you don't want your face in the middle of the screen. Oh, God damn it. One day I will get the audio perfect as soon as it starts. But anyway, we're back again for another episode. And as all Chilling with the Coolers go, I'm going to go and look at the videos that I've posted since the previous one, including the previous one, and basically answer any questions, comments, concerns that came up on any of those other videos, and basically respond, because I hate that commercial. I hate it. If anyone heard that, it was the Azeroth Choppers commercial where they're making motorcycles for World of Warcraft, because who knows. But anyway, they're doing that, and it's like I gotta watch like a 30-second video on like a cat falling, and it turns into a 12-minute preview of making a motorcycle, but not really. Show off the guns. Yeah, sure. View all comments. Afternoon, hello. Why does it not just show all the comments? There we go. Now we've got it working. Okay, but first off, we got to answer those previous questions. So also, leave any comments or questions you want in the comments on this video right now. I'll answer you in a few minutes after I've answered the other ones, but I'll definitely be going back over them all, and I'll respond when I do. So let's take a look. This is first at Chilling with the Cooler episode 5. This was on May 26th. So the video ended, and Legion Shizumuru. I tried. Legion can also run a pretty beast-heavy list. Between Shepherds and Forsaken, they can run almost all of their beasts hot and not worry about fear issues. It's certainly true. I didn't really mention that when I was saying beast-heavy lists. I basically said Scorn. The reason I say that is Legion beasts are not really good, though. I mean, don't get me wrong. They all are pretty good at the job that they set out to do, but like a Ravagore can shoot, and that's it. Carnivean is okay in melee. He's not like the be-all end-all, and the Scythian is okay at clearing infantry. But let's compare them to their counterparts, like a Cannoneer for Scorn can also get into melee if need be and do better than a Scythian or a Ravagore would. The Gladiator has more just use than a Carnivean does. That was kind of the point I was trying to make. Whether you agree with it or not. It's true, I do think they have very good management. Cameron. Owen, loving these Chilling with the Cooler videos. But they generally lack the most important thing. You, obviously you were there. But more importantly, how are you? I know you left Mini Wargaming, you had a gig lined up in the bank. Is that still happening? Any special ladies in your life? Also, I think Dan has the hots for Wargamer Girl. Well, thank you for liking the videos. I rather like making them. They're a nice breakup in the afternoon. I'm pretty good. I'm still dealing with a lot of stuff at the doctor's. Not really going to go into that. But other than that, yeah, I'm still working, making money, and I don't have a girlfriend right now. We broke up a few weeks ago, so that's that. P the Red, comment, come on, Matt's cool. Owen, okay. LOL, you just got yourself another subscriber. Yeah. Nick, 2 uses, off the top of my head, for the foam. Use them in a tackle box cases to pad the models, or coat them in Elmer's/PVA glue and use them as bricks for terrain. As for the plastic cases, I use them as giant pallets. Though to be honest, the glue brick is an idea I just came up with, so we'll have to test that out. Or look to see if someone has done it before. I think the glue brick is the way to go. Basically cut these into little strips and then like cut them into little cubes. And I'm thinking like a PVA glue water mix, and then basically like same sense as like breading a chicken. Roll them around in it, and then just build something out of them. Build a little house, or build just like a wrecked house, like little rubble. And they'd be a bunch of little brick-sized shapes, and then you literally just spray paint them black and then dry brush it. That's my plan. I'm probably going to try and do it. I may even record it if you guys want. And we can watch it fail or succeed. Damien, would love to hear your thoughts. Haven't bought the book yet, and I'm seriously debating not. I've played the game hardcore since Necrons came out in 2002, 2003. This is the only edition I've debated not buying because it just seems so horrible. I'd love to hear your detailed thoughts on it. Thanks, Owen. I don't know. We'll see. I really don't want to, but we'll see. Christopher, I'd love to see Drinking with the Cooler. Maybe just you and Sandy giving candid banter on wargaming in general. That's certainly possible. I mean, I can drink pretty often, but I don't know how much Sandy would want to hang out and just chat about wargaming. But I might be able to find some people to do that. I know a lot of people who do podcasts and stuff like that might be interested in that. Gab, where do you buy the Wrath of Kings models? Unfortunately, you can't actually buy them yet. They're coming soon, and the models that you can buy will actually be better than these ones. These are like I don't want to say prototype, but they're like the first edition that they made, and there's a couple problems with them, and I understand it now that I've built them up. They're not as nice as they could be. But for those of you who are Kickstarter backers, you're actually going to get a lot nicer quality ones. You're going to get plastic ones as opposed to these resin ones. So don't get me wrong, these are great. Like, these are very good. Like I said, my new favorite model is in this range, and they're only going to get better. So the new ones that come out will certainly be nice looking models. So don't worry, they'll be coming out soon. Just Google Wrath of Kings. I'll probably put a link in this description below so you can look up more about this game. It's very stat card based in the sense that like each model / unit type has its own stat card, so you don't end up having to buy tons of stuff. And they actually have a PDF version of their rulebook right there. So if you wanted to proxy and like figure out how the game works before buying it, you could certainly do so. But so far it seems neat. I haven't been able to play much. I've only played a few demo games when I was at Adepticon, and I've played one game in the last week here when we were trying to figure out the rules. But I'm going to figure them out for the most part before I start doing battle reports and reviews on how the game actually functions. So stay tuned. There will be those coming out, though. Lycan, hey Owen, was wondering if you were going to do any board game shows like the Firefly game you played when you were still with Mini Wargaming. They were really good. Thanks. Would you like to see board games? I mean, I got a bunch of board games. I actually just played Twilight Imperium the other day for the second time, and I won because the Federation of Sol can just crap out infantry, and it worked for me. But yeah, if you want to see board games, I can do board games. How about Battlestar Galactica? I love that board game. Jim, I use the plastic cases to mix epoxy adhesives in. Yeah, that's basically what I see everybody saying. Using them for basically pallets. And Nabil, Owen, I know you play Tau and have played White Scars. Would you ever ally them? If so, how? I would not ally them. But in the new edition, who knows? Do whatever you want. But the reasoning that I had in the previous edition when I played a lot more was when I build a list, I build my list to do one job. It'll either shoot or fight or move. And it won't do multiple tasks. Like I always argued why you would ally orcs with Tau. It doesn't make sense. Never mind thematic reasons, but on the grounds that close combat in 40k hampers your ability to shoot. And shooting is like makes your close combat less effective because you'll be just killing them with ranged. So to bring orc boys in a Tau army who need to cross the board and get into melee would mean you're taking guns out of your gun line, and you're providing his units with a way to get into close combat and thus save them from shooting. And the way the mechanics work for shooting and challenge and fighting in 40k, let's say you charge in and you're both in combat for the first round. It doesn't end. He kills a lot of your guys, you kill a few of his, you don't break, you stay, there you go. Second round of combat, now on his turn, you fight again, he doesn't win again, you're back to your turn now. You can no longer shoot that unit. They're stuck in combat. Then it switches to his turn and he finishes you off and then moves towards you. You're only going to get one round of shooting. Or even worse yet, on that second round when you weren't able to shoot, he wins combat then, and they leave the combat, moving a d6 further towards you, then move, and then have a chance to charge your unit, and you've lost a full round of shooting. So I would rather take just more guns. If you want to play White Scars, they can kind of do both, but they're better at melee/shooting, whereas the Tau just guns. So that's my reasoning, and that's why I wouldn't. Alright, I'm going to talk about the Warhammer, or War Machine Open. There weren't a lot of comments on these, but stay tuned for it. Too bad you only recorded one match. Was hoping to see more Menoth Beatdown, says Ty. The reason why I did not do very many recordings was, one, there was not a lot of room. Like, basically, you needed the table over in order to set up the camera. And two is I was really just trying to win. And making recordings kind of distracts from the ability to play. And that was the only reason. This video made me feel like I was on shrooms. All the wobbling in the background was weird because I was dropping acid. Fair enough. I tried using the stabilizing editing that YouTube provides, and it basically warped the whole video. So I turned it back off, and now it should be fine for anyone who's watched it since then. Here we've got the final game between Mark and myself in the Southern Ontario Open, and there's only a few comments here as well. Thank you for the finals table battle report, and congrats on making said finals table on such a large event. Thank you very much, Advanced Maneuvers. What list did you use, and what list did Mark use? I'm going to have to go from memory, but it was E-Fiora against E-Haley. My Fiora list had Errants, Reckoner, Vanquisher, Zealots, and then support for those units, including, I believe, Gorman was in that list. Yes, Gorman and Rupert and the Book were all in that list as well. On his side, he had Arcane Tempest Gun Mages, he had the Hammer Dwarves, he had Alexia and the Risen, and Nis Hunters, as well as the support to go with that. He had like Pendrake and Gorman de Wolf, because Gorman's in every army. And that was the lists. Mike, I've always felt that running an army but playing a bunch of ancillary units is a little cheaty. Other than Arcane Tempest Gun Mages, how many non-mercenary units is that guy using? Mark tried to figure this out, saying that he didn't understand the question, and Mike said that he doesn't see how there could be confusion. Basically, the comment that he was making was that you're playing Cygnar, but in your army, you're like 30 points of it is mercenaries, is the idea, Mark. He was using one non-mercenary unit. And honestly, Cygnar uses mercenaries. That's just, their units are not very good. They do better without them. So that's the reasoning there. Alright, and now we're back into the comments. And there are lots of them. Ugh. Evening from the UK. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? I'm not the only one from the UK. Solid. Most of us in the UK. Well, that's why this one is so much earlier. This show I tried to do in the mid-afternoon because I know a lot of you guys want to watch them in the afternoon. I would like the Wednesday show to be earlier, but unfortunately I just can't do it earlier because of work and being busy and such. So you guys, if you're willing to stay up right into the early morning or late night, yeah, or you can just watch it and pass. But at least we've got this one. This one, yeah, everyone can watch. Anyway. Steve, you inspired me to try out War Machine. Yeah. I have the 2-player battle box in post. Any suggestions to go from there? Do you have the 2-player War Machine or Hordes one? Let me know, and I'll tell you. And which one out of those 2 players did you want to pick? Miso. Hey, Owen, I was wondering why you didn't go to other War Machine tournaments to try and qualify for War Machine Weekend. Getting to the final table is very good effort. Darn strength of schedule. Yeah, it happens. I wasn't really caught up on trying to go to War Machine Weekend. I went more because friends of mine were running the event, and I just wanted to show support, and I enjoy playing the game. Whether I got to War Machine Weekend was not really something I was competing for. I found out afterwards that it was a qualifier for War Machine Weekend. After I'd already signed up and had helped set up the tables the night before, I was told that it was a qualifier. I mean, I know it said it everywhere, but I just didn't pay attention. It's my own fault. Yeah, anyway, that's how that goes. I could have gone to more. I just, meh. Menoth and Kador. I think he's referring to Steve's comment. Terrain with the cooler. Do it. All right. I guess we'll get on that at some point. Where'd my scissors go? I think they're right there. How easy are these to cut? Also, for those of you who aren't aware, or watching this now, there's actually been an ongoing live stream by Menoth John, Painting with Menoth John, on Twitch right now. And they're basically painting all day today because June has apparently been decided that it is the month to paint. And so they're painting, they're doing this big bonanza. They've got tons of people going on. I was actually on their show earlier today, about 3 hours ago, 2 hours ago. And so if you want to go watch that and just hang out, they're just chatting it up and painting. So if you want to listen to some people who are in the industry as well as just other content producers, I highly recommend jumping over and taking a look at that stuff. Okay, how does this sound? E-Krios, Max Bastions, Max Cinerators, Vilman, Order of the Shield, Bastion Seneschal, Crusader. It's very good in a sense, but you'll find that you're very slow. Be prepared to have to get a lot of hits. Cinerators kind of can make up for that when they get damaged, but it is still very... it's risky. The way I run my Krios, as a lot of you have seen in some battle reports I've done on Mini Wargaming, as well as those just in person, is a lot of Knights, because they hit as hard as a Cinerator or a Bastion does. You just get more of them. And his tier makes it, like, his tier is arguably, in my opinion, the best tier there is. Out of all the tier benefits you get in all the factions, E-Krios' crazy number of guys, combined with the fact that you get faster movement to make up for the one lousy stat they have, other than defense, but meh. And being able to get your models across the board faster is like such a big deal that, I don't know, it's very good in my opinion. But as far as that list goes, double Bastions with Seneschal is annoying as hell, and Vilman is annoying as hell. So, yeah, go for it. Oh, and have you bought Mario Kart 8? No, I don't play Mario games. That's basically how it is. I'm one of those guys who's like, oh, look, they made the game again. Well, I'm not going to buy it again because I already have this. I have Mario Kart 1 through 7, or whatever the case may be. So, basically, yeah, I'm not going to buy Mario Kart. Would love to see board games. Please do Twilight Imperium, heavily edited. Oh, you don't want to watch the whole Twilight Imperium? We played it in 5 hours. Like, it didn't take, there were 6 of us and we did it in 5 hours. And like 2 of us didn't even know how to play, including me. And we figured it out. So, yeah, that's basically how that goes. But yeah, I'll definitely do some board games. There's also a game called Resistance Avalon. It's amazing. Actually, you know what? That's not true. I have heard of Resistance Avalon, but I've not played Resistance Avalon. So I'll look into it and try and figure out what it is. Yeah, this feels like a good idea. Or a terrible idea. I'm just going to make a gigantic mess and nothing will be achieved. Boom. Do you plan to do another 40k army? As it stands, no. I do not plan on starting another 40k army. I was kind of thrown off once again. I've gotten steadily further from GW simply because of their decisions with how they do their rules. I am a competitive player. I'll play for fun. But I argue that the thing that keeps your game going is competitiveness and its competitive nature. And so GW has gotten further and further away from that, and I'm just not as much interested. Not to mention it's an incredible investment to try and start a 40k army. Like, let's go over basics. You have to buy the rulebook, 80. Have to buy the codex, 60. That's $140 right there. Bam, that is what you could pay to get a full army in War Machine. Like a 50-point list is $150. Maybe not the best list, don't get me wrong, but you could get a 50-point tournament list for $50 or $150. And now we don't even have any models yet. We simply have the rules so we can play their game. But now let's move into models. So you're looking at $50 for a squad. Depending on your faction, you're going to need somewhere between 3 and like 11 different types of squads, varying across the units. You're going to have vehicles, which are another $60 to $100 investment each. And you're going to need a lot of vehicles in some factions, where you're going to end up having like 10 or 11. to make an army that you can play in tournaments. And once again, I don't even think that it's a very competitive game. So you've got basically, they've got two things that I find that are against it right off the bat. One, it's too much for me to get into in like any kind of reasonable way, because as everyone who plays 40k knows, if you want to have a good list, you gotta spend a bit of money and you gotta buy the units that are really good, which applies to everything. Don't get me wrong. If you want to do very good in War Machine, eventually you're gonna have to buy multiples of units and extras and blah blah blah. And it makes it too hard for me to justify spending $700-800 to buy an army for a game that I don't particularly care about, because I can't play it in any kind of competitive fashion. So while I wholeheartedly support playing it, and I will probably play it again. I mean, my Tau army is like right there. You can't even see it because the camera's not there. Let me adjust the camera a little bit. Actually, now I should make sure that I'm actually adjusting the camera in such a way that you'll be able to see it. Alright, well, the camera's going down. There, see? There are guys there on that shelf. Man, I need another light for that corner of the room. Also, now I've messed up the camera. This was all kinds of a terrible idea. Yes? Good? We're good now? Alright, we're good now. Ta-da! Yeah. So, I mean, I will certainly play 40k again, but like I said, it's just too much money for me to justify starting another faction in a game that, like I said, I don't much care for. Fantasy, might play another fantasy army. I have a High Elf army that's been started and it's on its way. I'm going to have to build like some more guys and paint a lot more guys, but it's still pretty awesome. And I enjoy fantasy. It is silly, don't get me wrong. It's the same kind of crazy, ridiculous rules choices that they made in their other ones. And, yeah. So, actually there, you can still see them. They're up on that shelf there. Some of them, anyway. The Riptide and some of the tanks and the battle suits are on there. But, yeah. Anyway, that's my opinion on that. I totally, like, zoned out on where I was in the comments. So let's go back up. Yeah, we were at, do you want to start another one? I've had an eye on Twilight Imperium. Would be interested to see a game. All right, well, I'll talk to the guys who I played with when we play again, because I'm sure we're going to play again. And I'll see if they'll let me, I'll dumb record it and leave the camera just recording the screen, or the board. And then I may just kind of edit it down a bit so it's not a full, like, 5-hour video. Do you plan to do another 40k army? Blah, blah, blah. Hello, Cell. How are you doing? Inquisitor. With close combat in 40k, bring your units with hit and run so you can keep your shooting, and close combat will hamper their shooting. That'd be a good thing. If only so many units could be given hit and run. War Machine. I'm thinking Khador. If you're moving off from the battle box for Khador, I would recommend getting in a unit of Winter Guard and Kovnik Joe, or Kaovanik Joseph, or whatever his name is. He's in the book if you got that one. If you didn't, if you ask somebody who knows how to play what Kovnik Joe is, or what model on the shelf is Kovnik Joe, they'll know what you're talking about. And then Kayazi with their UA. Also very good choice. I'm starting Tau. What would you recommend for the army? Battlesuits, base troopers, and tanks. Those three things can carry the Tau army. Though Riptides are now the big thing. When I was at Adepticon, I think a good 80% of the players were playing either Tau or Eldar, and nearly all of those lists had triple Riptide, triple Wraith Knight. So that's what I would recommend. Riptides, battlesuits, basic fire warriors, and then battlesuits. Or sorry, tanks. Like the hammerheads are very good tanks. Wrong choice. I meant with the smiley. I really meant the smiley. Oh. Clint, love your bat reps. By the way, have you forsaken Crix? I assume that means that you think that I have a Crix army. I don't, actually. The Crix army that I was playing was actually Mini Wargaming's army. And seeing as I don't work there anymore, I don't really have access to it. So, unfortunately, maybe I'll get into Crix, but I really doubt it because I don't like them. I think they're... That's not true. I don't find the appeal. I like the armies that I have right now. Um, I just started Signar, so that's what I'm working on at the moment. David, shut up and sit down. Did a TI3, Twilight Imperium? Is that what he's trying to say? Show that was heavily edited. They did it La Tabletop, and it worked really well. Check it out. Okay, I will, because I'm curious about this stuff. GW has gotten further from Logic more than anything. Very well. And definitely in support of you covering board games. All right, so then we'll be covering tabletop, board games, video games. Yep, they'll be somewhere sometime for all of it. Miso, do you have any favorite niche sites at the moment? There's one called Shut Up and Sit Down, which is great. It has the best Let's Play of Resistance as well. Huh, well, that came up twice in 4 comments. No, I don't know what you mean by niche sites. Like, what does that mean? Is that like hobby sites? Is that what we're talking about? Oh well, I'm sure you'll respond and explain that to me. Rocking Collector, made it just in time. You pointed to Dark Elves, probably. That sounds like something I would do. Imperator, do you plan on doing another Hordes army? Another Hordes army. Well, there are... I like Circle. If I was going to do another one, it would probably be Circle. Maybe Legion, but I already had a Legion army at one point, so who knows if I'll get back into that. I might do Circle just because I don't know them very well, and they're not very well represented in our meta. So that is certainly an option. But I have a Trolls army a little bit that I have access to, but I hate Trolls, so that's not going to happen. So probably not for a while yet. But it's a certainly possibility, and I think Circle would be the one I would go towards. Rocking Collector. There's a group that's going to start playing Fantasy again at the shop I go to. Can't wait to play with Lizardmen some more. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear it. Like I said, Fantasy is a fun game, in the same sense that 40k is just a fun, silly game. But I do think competitiveness is a big deal. And that's how I feel about it. And the only problem is 40k has tried to be the competitive one for longer than Fantasy has. And, well, Miso, don't get Kayazi. Not good in meta anymore. Too many things have answers to high defense. Black Dragon, Iron Fang Pikeman with Iron Fang Kovnik is better. Yeah, but also more expensive. Like, points-wise. The Kayazi with the UA unit in, like, 6 different lists is amazing. E. Vlad, Kayazi. P. Butcher, Kayazi. Old Witch, and sometimes Kayazi. Not as much. Having a fully stealth gang unit who can mini feat to have acrobatics and mat like 8 because they all have gang, who when paired up with some casters can do just phenomenal amounts of damage. Like they are a very good unit. Black Dragons and Iron Fang Pikemen with the Iron Fang Kovnik is a good move, but they're not very useful. They can get onto his own, kind of. You say that there's a lot of answers to high defense. There are more answers to high armor, and they're called every jack in the game. Every heavy jack. Like, the number of times I've just melted a Black Dragon or Iron Fang unit has been like every game they fight, I go up against them and you just crush them because their Menoth can just counter it. And even when I play Signar, all I do is just disable them. I kill a few and then just ignore them because they're able to get across the board, and then I can just disengage. Or with once again with Menoth, you just kill them all because Weapon Masters and high power are everywhere. So having stealth to get around shooting, having quick movement speed to get across the board, having gang, they're pretty good, Miso. I'd look at those again. Hordes, yes, I would very much like to see more Scorn reports. I gotta paint my Scorn. I think that's the problem. That's why you don't see them as much, is because they're not painted. And while I don't have a rule on my channel that you have to have fully painted. I do like fully painted. Like there is an appeal to it. So that's why I was sitting here painting my avatar, or started painting my avatar. Yeah, I'll definitely play more Scorn. I just gotta paint him. Maybe we'll have a sit down and paint, because I mean this month is paint day, or paint month, every Sunday or something like that. Paint for an hour. That's the point I'm trying to make. Hobbying geeky types. Shut Up and Sit Down is a board game site. Fantastic videos. Best on the internet, but very British. Very British. Not really. I don't really have any hobby or geeky sites that I look at. I watch YouTube, so I guess, I mean, like, I come across YouTube channels that are geeky. Like, that comes up. But, no, I don't really, like, there's not a website that I'm, like, subscribed to / like, favorited that I go to all the time. So I usually am just, like, carousing YouTube and looking at whatever videos people happen to have on there. Every now and then, Beasts of War puts something up that I'm interested in, because I like them on Facebook, so I see it come up every now and again. But often I just kind of like click on it and then read a quick article. Same goes for Bell of Lost Souls. So if I see them pop up on Facebook or someone tells me about it, I'll take a look at it there. But I don't really look at the sites. Like, I don't just watch them. There you go. Imperator, Great Circle of Ouroboros is awesome, and I plan to start them. By the way, there's too much space between your head and the top of the screen. Is there? Did I adjust and now it's too much? This isn't too bad. It's only like that much. Once again, the idea is that you don't want your head in the middle of the screen. That's the idea. Usually. Sometimes you do. There are reasons to do it. It's because I mess with my camera. I have to sit here for like 5 minutes later now and try and arrange everything again. David, I'm just getting into War Machine, and I only play against one friend who has Legion, and will be playing against trolls in the future. And we'll be playing against trolls. Best Menoth anti-horde units to deal with them. Deal with trolls or deal with Legion? And also, what is him playing, or is it, oh, you're playing against trolls in the future, and he has Legion right now? I see. Well, both of them also like to have heavies, because the Legion heavies, as is brought up earlier in this video, are very self-sufficient with Forsaken and Shepherds, and they're pretty good at killing our guys. And the Troll heavies have a lot of fury to throw around, and usually form a large... Well, now Troll actually have a lot of infantry involved. Well, one thing is, don't depend on fire. There's a UA out for the stones that's in nearly every list I've seen for trolls that makes them immune to continuous effects. So that's not really good enough. Often what I'll do, if I really need to fight trolls and just beat them to death, then Judicator does very good at that. The waves of missiles, using them to scalpel out his unit of Creel stones, works very well. And then once they're gone and the whole army's armor goes down by 2, then you're able to eat them up better with units like Knights Exemplar and stuff. Honestly, or Knights of Exemplar and Exemplar Errants. If you want to, or Zealots are a very good choice against anti-hordes, because their mini feat is just a big screw you to their armies, and the bombs are very killy. Like, you can bring down Legion heavies just with them using fervor and chucking bombs at them. Actually, you can bring down anything. I think I killed the Colossal the other day with Zealots ganging up and throwing bombs at it for like 2 rounds. Yeah, I don't know. Menoth has a lot of stuff that just, they're all very useful. The book is always a good answer. Can't go wrong with the Covenant of Menoth. He works in nearly every list that you can think of, just from his denial and his lane blocking. I mean, you can't cast spells, and it takes you guaranteed 5 hits to kill me. You cannot kill me with less than 5 hits. Not very many things can throw out 5 hits and be worthwhile. Like shooting, yes, but neither of these, well, Legion has a bit of shooting. Trolls are not the best at shooting. But they do have it. It exists. Be aware. Yeah. That's what I would recommend. I mean, really, just anything. When you fight them, you have to learn what it's like. Like, I can tell you anything, because I can make anything work. because I've played my army a lot. So I've got an idea of how each of my units will work when I use them up against a troll player or a legion player. I understand how the mechanic will lay out, like how my faction will line up against their faction, and I can tell you which situation you should use each one in and how to use them. But it's hard to just say, like, this is a good choice, because there are lots of choices. And I've been trying to do that recently, where I'm really trying to change up my local meta by bringing things that people do not expect. And I even try and do it on a bigger scale. That's why when you look at the stats on the Privateer Press forums for War Machine weekend qualifiers, like the Masters events, there's only one person who's played Double Judicator, because it's not generally considered a good list. You spend too many focus using Sevi with the 2 Judicators, and it's easy to get assassinated, and you can't bring a lot of units, and there's blah, 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 whatever the reasons may be. But I used it. I made it work. I won my game when I used him, and he did good. I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was probably not as fun for my opponent, but it was interesting for my own sake to watch it happen. But you had to know what not to do. Like, do not play that list if there's a kill box. Don't drop that list against Scorn or Crix, because they'll eat them. Probably even against Menoth, because they'll deny a lot of your shooting. So you just you have to learn your faction. If you want me to recommend units that are very quick synergies that are good to use, Bastions are very good unit. Errants are very good unit. Zealots, very good unit. Zealots are arguably one of the best units. Them and Errants are like the top 2 used, because they are very good at what they want to do. They don't do the same job, Zealots and Errants, but they do each of their jobs very well. And they're, once again, simple to use. You throw their UAs into their units, and then you just go with it. So that's my advice for any faction, really. Learn your faction, and don't listen to the internet when it tells you that your list is a bad list, because there are no bad lists. There are less efficient lists, and there are more risky lists, but all of them are good. All right, Clint, any thoughts on Widowmakers? Am I misguiding my local players? Well, after that long rant, Widowmakers are terrible. No, Widowmakers are horribly annoying, especially against Menoth. They're very good at plucking off our characters, as well as our high armored 1-box infantry, like my Knights Exemplars. Losing 4 Knights every round sucks. I'm telling you that right now. Especially when they start getting higher armor, when I have like one guy left who's armor 20, and he's like, snipe on a 3, you die. And I'm like, damn you and your cheating unit. Clint again, have you used/played against Mammoth? Thoughts on a good list to use with him? I haven't used one, but I have played against one a few times. Actually, no, I've only played against it once. Most people don't drop the Mammoth against me, because they know that I'm going to bring Ikrios and my wave of knights, and the Mammoth simply can't kill enough, and I will kill it. And that's very close to what happened anyway. I ended up, the Avatar jumped on it and just mangled it, and then I think one Seneschal jumped over there and finished it off. But a good use with him, what is his name? Mordekar is fun, but there's another guy, I want to say Zal, but I think that's one's wrong too. It might be Zal. It's the guy who's got the same gun where he shoots your strength plus his gun, and also, it's a very good combination. One of the casters, I think it's Zal, who has it, and extollers that run with him, because you use the big guy's animus on himself, and so when your enemy moves within your command, you shoot with your extoller gun, which does their strength plus your gun, and it's like a gigantic hit against a lot of people, especially against beasts, because they have traditionally higher strength and lower strength weapons. And you can generally just throw out a lot of free damage. And he's got a bit of synergy with him. P-Hexy is another caster I would use. Or maybe it's E-Hexy. E-Hexy, that's right. He's the one with Black Spot. Good choice right there with the Mammoth. Imperator, any suggestions on how to use Temple Flame Guard? Used a unit as bodyguard, didn't really work, and they're not really strong, even though quite resistance. Best use with Temple Flame Guard is any caster that has Defender's Ward in our faction, because Def 15 is awesome in addition to their armor. Yeah, they do run into the problem that they're not very strong. Another caster, if you have Ignite, is a good call, like Fiora putting Ignite on them. They do a pretty decent amount of damage. They can throw it out there. Personally, I don't find I use Flame Guard very much or very often. I tend to be drawn to Zealots, who are the same cost. And with their UA and with their bombs, I find they're just as durable and do more damage. They're not really as durable, but for one round, they're certainly durable. Yeah, I don't know. It's the one list that I've heard, and I proxied it one time. That's actually incredibly obnoxious. Is Harbinger with 3 units of Knights or Exemplar? No, not even Exemplar. With Temple Flame Guard, because when they're all within her awe, they get +1 or +2 to their defense against living, effectively. Like when enemy are within her awe, so they're basically def 15. And there's just so many guys under Crusader's Call that it's ridiculously hard to deal with. Rocking Collector, did you see the news about the Atari ET games being dug up? Yes, I saw the news, and I didn't care. It's like a myth, right? That they just threw out all those games, that they filled landfills with them and whatnot. Yeah, a game was bad 60 years ago, 40 years ago. I'm kidding. Whatever, I'm exaggerating. It doesn't affect me today. Hello, how are you guys? Mr. Caterpillar. I'm alright. Doing pretty well today. I've been on a live show earlier, and we're running a live show now. Goliath Online. Owen, what is that thing in the back within your Dark Elves box with the wings? Can we see it? Yeah, I guess. This is my dragon. You've seen him before. I don't think I've actually used him though in a fantasy bat rep for quite some time. And he's got a little Dreadlord on him, which is actually an Incubi from 40k, because they make the best Dreadlords. Who, he's actually painted. Unfortunately, my camera is not the best. I'm not even gonna be able to, this is not gonna work at all. No? 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 Alright. Anyway, he's on there. He's got mostly white armor with like blue and like black and stuff. And yeah, that's what he does. Do I have a favorite movie? Do I have a favorite movie? Not really. I can't think of one movie that is like distinctly better than others. Or at least I don't think I've one that I watch like more than any other movie. So no, I would say no. There's a lot of movies I like don't get me wrong. And a lot of them are usually actually kind of silly and ridiculous movies. For example, I was a big fan of Dead Snow, for anyone who saw that movie. That made me laugh. I like Troll Hunter. That was also a funny movie that I liked. I guess these are both foreign movies. I liked Pacific Rim. I like that movie. I liked Super Troopers, another movie that I like a lot. Yeah, so it's just kind of I like a lot of movies. I like The Thing, the older John Carpenter's Thing. That was a very fun one. Imperator, do you know the Total War games? And if yes, do you plan to play them? I don't know. I know of them. I don't play them. I haven't played them. So as it stands, no, I don't plan on playing it. But I have been told that they're very good strategy games, and I do like strategy games quite a bit. I was actually playing Warcraft 3 the other night again. Can't not play that game. It's been like 12 years and I still play it. Actually, recently the game I've been playing the most of and trying to get the hang of it before I do a few little videos for it is ArcAge Online. It's in alpha right now. It's a Korean game that's getting ported over, and I was able to get into the alpha, which you can too if you're willing to spend $150, which is rather expensive. But eventually it's going to be a free-to-play game. It's made, or not made by, but it's being ported over by the guys who did Rift and their Tryon games. So it probably will be a pretty good free-to-play game. And the game, I could say right now, short answer is it's pretty good. I've had fun with it, and it's got a very interesting like system. But Anyway, that's in the future. This room looks different. It is different, actually. It's getting closer and closer to turning into more of a studio-esque room. As like I've tried to rearrange it a bit. This table right here, I'm going to be putting an actual game table on. And I've got the other half of that shelf. So all the models that are strewed across the wall there are going to get put up on the shelf. I just haven't done it yet because I've been busy these last few days. Getting some posters up. I've got my Minecraft poster up right now. I've got some Assassin's Creed, I think, is the other poster. I want to get a Game of Thrones one to replace that one. Yeah, so it's basically it's turning into somewhere where I can start making a lot more videos easily instead of going to like Toy Trove, which is not to say I don't like going to Toy Trove. Don't get me wrong. It's that you get a lot more freedom of like time and space and audio if you have your own place to do it. And this room is basically a little studio. It's rather well insulated. It's got good like noise canceling. Unfortunately, there's not very much good lighting. So I'm going to probably pick up another 2 or 3 lamps just to put in the other corners of the room just to kind of brighten the whole thing up for when I do make videos here. Like as I said earlier, that corner back there is pretty dark. The other end of the room is not as bad. The main light that I have in the center is right over the middle of the table, which is good for the table, but we need something in the corners of the room, right? So anyway, that's what's been going on. So yes, it is a bit different because basically moved from one end to the other end of this room as I rearranged it. Samuel! Owen, do you have any tips against Convergence of Cyrus? I have Menoth and Retribution. Well, I just played them yesterday for the first time, and since they were very new coming out. When they had first come out, I didn't respect them at all. I didn't care about them because I considered them a non-faction. It was basically, if you drop Convergence, I win. I still think that, having played them a few times now since they've gotten newer. My tip that I can make is win on scenario. They have a lot of trouble trying to cover the board and really contest you. They'll kill your stuff. They've got good and shenanigan-y guns like knockdowns and punctures and clear spray units and shield wall for days, and they've got the ability to bring guys back and all that. Kill their support, kill the corollary, kill their forges, and try and dominate zones / flags. That would be the best advice I have, because once you're on a zone, they don't have a lot of movement shenanigans to really get you off of it. They've got to really just grind through you and push their way back in. There are a few that do, like the Clockwork Angels are they're dynamic and can get around, but they die from a stiff breeze. So my advice is win on scenario when you play against them. Don't try and assassinate. Most of their casters are pretty durable. I think the weakest one is even still pretty tough. So I would recommend trying to just take the scenario down. David, do you own the Deliverer Sunburst crew? Nope. Another units people don't like, but I bought one and will try it out for myself. That's probably a good idea. I actually was literally just saying that yesterday as we were playing that tournament round. That one scenario where there's the objective that gives boosted damage rolls on artillery. And I went, why do I not have artillery in one of my lists? I mean, it fits in with Sevi. It would just be another throwing AoE that would be eyed and awesome. It'd be good. So, yeah, use it. Do it. Make it work. Leave comments below and leave comments on the YouTube channel, or Facebook page rather, how it works out. Rocking Collector, do you play any games on Xbox Live or PlayStation Network? I used to, but it's all been packed up. I played Grand Theft Auto 5 for like a week, and then I went, why did I get this? Actually, that was just my ex-girlfriend that wanted me to get it so we could play together. And I was like, this game's boring. But no, I don't really play on either of those. I don't play on the systems anymore at all. I mean, I used my Xbox as a table for the longest time. Like, it was like a table stand. Anyway, so no, I don't really do that. How about favorite shows? Game of Thrones is my current favorite show. I've been watching it. Oh, there's Game of Thrones tonight, actually. Oh man, who's excited to watch the Mountain fight the Viper? Goliath Online. If you like strategy games, you should test out Wasteland 2 on Steam. It's pretty sweet so far. Alright, I'll take a look. Big Star Wars fan just got here. Where were you, man? Where were you? You knew when this was. Shame. James, when do you plan on start making battle reports in your own in the studio the studio? I figured what you were trying to say there. Well, there's a few more steps that have to be done. So first off, I still need to get a board. I got to go down to my Home Depot and pick one up. Unfortunately, my car's not big enough, but I found someone with a minivan who might let me use it, so I can just bring the board home. Second, I'm going to have to coat and flock that board, which is only like an afternoon's work once I can find an afternoon to do it and I have the board. So that's not so bad. I've got tons of material to cover it with. So after that, so expect in, I want to say, about a week to a week and a half. And once I have my own table, I guarantee you I will be making more videos because it's way easier to make them when you don't have to move anything around. Especially when even friends of mine who are interested in it, they can just try it out because we don't have to go to like a hobby shop or anything like that, and I don't have to lug 2 armies worth of stuff. Like, I have more than enough Menoth to play multiple games of Menoth against itself, and then I have Scorn and Trolls and Cygnar and a little bit of Mercenaries. Like, I can do that as well. And of course I've got High Elves and Dark Elves, and there you go. What if I don't play Scenario against Convergence? If you don't play Scenario, then you're playing the game wrong. I'm sorry, but the game is designed around Scenario. Like, many casters and abilities are designed for Scenario play. It is assumed that you're playing Scenario. So if you're not playing Scenario, it's harder for me to give you advice, but bring E-Krios tier 4, 5 units of Knights Exemplar with full errants and Daughters of a Flame, and you'll do okay, because those knights will mulch everything in his army. Big Star Wars fan. Played my first Warma Hordes game last Friday with my Crix. Got destroyed. It was really fun. And he was playing sports. Well, that's yes. Welcome to War Machine, the School of Hard Knocks, where you start your game and you learn the first round how easy it is to die. And in the second round, you try and hide, and then you find out how easy it is to die. And you continue doing that until you figured it out. I mean, really, it's a learning curve. You have to learn stuff to play this game. You can't just pick it up and like, I'm the best player at the game ever, always. I rolled nothing but 6s and won. Even with perfect rolls, you will still lose. Like, if you got everything you wanted, you can still lose. And that's the way it is. You seen a game called War Thunder on Steam? War Thunder. Is that the plain one? I don't have Steam open. There's the one that was a game where it was all like air-to-air combat, and apparently they updated it recently where they added tanks, is what I heard. I don't know if that was War Thunder, but I played War Thunder, I think. I played the plain game that I'm thinking of anyway. Videos of the process of making the board. Alright, I'll set up my camera when I go to do it. It'll be boring, but I'll do it. Game of Thrones tonight. If you don't read the books, we also get to see Tyrion and his most famous line ever conceived. I won't spoil it for you if you haven't read the books, though. I have read the books, actually. I'm also not going to spoil it. And that's how it is. I'm actually kind of excited, because after that one episode a few days ago, when they showed the White Walkers at the end of that episode and the baby and all that, that's not explaining too much. I got really excited thinking that the show is going to start going in a very different direction than the books did, in that, like, they're changing, because they already have, like, don't get me wrong, I understand that, but I'm not a big fan of the books. They're all right, they're good, they're a fantasy novel, but it's just not all that big a deal to me. Like, I like the show. I enjoy the show more than I enjoyed the books, simply because the show is more exciting. Yes, there's less information. Yes, there's less characters. Yes, there's less, like, behind the scenes. But it's exciting. And the book was just very, like, I almost wanted to say tedious in that sense. But, yeah, it was enjoyable. And I'm enjoying the show. So that's where we are. Did you watch X-Men Days of Future Past, and did you like it? I did watch it, and I did like it. Though, for some reason, as soon as I left the theater, the first thing I saw was the Optimus Prime riding on a Tyrannosaurus. And the first comment I made was, I bet you they went to a panel of 13-year-olds and asked them, what would you like to see in a movie? And they went, robots and dinosaurs. Actually, no, sorry, not 13-year-olds. 8-year-olds. And went, robots and explosions and dinosaurs and sword fights and laser guns. And then they went, let's make a movie out of this. And that's how the new Transformers got made. That's how I believe. That's how it happened. The lag is real. I'm sorry if it's lagging. It shouldn't be, but it's possible. Mr. Caterpillar, yep, now has tanks. Well, there you go. I was thinking of the right game, and I should probably go update it now that it has tanks, because that's something else to try. Imperator, the space between your head and the screen is now perfect. That's good to know. I wonder about that all the time. Big Star Wars fan. Owen, you should play Civilization 5 on Steam. Every time I go to buy that game, like I look at it and I look at it and everyone's like, it's so good, it's so good, it's amazing, you love it, it's fun, it's great, it's awesome, it's fun, it's great, it's awesome, it's good, it's awesome, it's blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to buy it. And I look at it and I look at the screenshots and I watch the little video. I watch the screenshots some more. My finger like hovers and then I go, no, not today. I'll buy something different or nothing. And I don't know why. I just can't do it. Can't do it. I love my recommended videos. Episode 9. Cooling down and goodbye to the Explorer. Top 7 bizarre Pokemon theories. What? Cheap plate chiller. And the chill off. It's because I have chill in my name. It made sense because it was a pun. It was a play on words there with chilling with the cooler. Oh well. Anyway. Yes, Transformers movies are terrible. I was so disappointed in the second one. You look like a Face Off fan, Owen. Face Off. Sci-fi Face Off. I don't watch television, so I'm trying to figure out what it is.
Content is currently unavailable.
Thank you for telling me that I can't watch your previews on your website. Thank you. It's because I'm Canadian. I get it, you bunch of bastards. Oh, I see. This is like the old Space Channel. Space Network. Oh, yeah, sci-fi. There you go. Yeah, probably. I could see that. I did watch House of Cards the other day. I watched the rest of Season 2, which is awesome as well. It's a Netflix exclusive. Fancy Netflix talk. But, yeah, that, I guess that would kind of fit. Mr. Caterpillar, you like Coke or something? Yes, Coke is better than Pepsi. Samuel, this is for me because my internet wants to be a potato. Yep, running on a potato. Product placement. It's not product placement. It's just what I happen to have in my fridge. And it was convenient, which is why it was in the fridge. Goliath, you should play... Actually, we're almost out of the time. We're at like the hour here. So, that's basically where we're getting to. We'll answer a few last questions. Gotta run. Have a good rest of the week, all. See you later, Shizumaru. And chilling with the Frieza. No. You should play Pikmin and gain uneasy satisfaction of throwing small carrot people to their deaths. Like the movie with Nicolas Cage, Face Off? No. No, we're not. I don't think he was talking about that. Why do you not work for me anymore? Anyway, I've caught up on all the comments. It's been about an hour now, so we're going to wrap this up. Once again, there's like a 11-hour stream going on over with Menoth John, Painting with Menoth. Yeah, Painting with Menoth John. I'm going to see if I can find you a link. So basically, just go to twitch.tv/menothjohn, and you can watch it right there. Yeah, I'm getting an ad because I opened up his page. That's okay. That's what happens when you go to Twitch. Oh yeah, it doesn't let me. It doesn't let me show links. So I'm going to add a link to the description right now. It won't work for any of you who watched this in the past, but if you click on that Twitch TV/menothjohn, you can go listen to that. And I wanted to just give you that give them the little. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. I've just kind of like lost my mind, and apparently he was talking about the movie. All right, I haven't seen it. But Nicolas Cage is usually over the top. Go watch Bad Lieutenant. Anyway, thank you guys who watched this. Once again, Wednesday we've got Gaming with the Cooler. I think it's at 9:30 this week, and I do apologize for having missed the this week's episode. It was because of how late I went with Mini Wargamer. Nobody anymore, actually. It's just Codex Dan and Codex Dan and Wargamer Girl. So that was why we didn't have one. I tried to post links in the Facebook to let everybody know that was what was going on, but that's the reason why it didn't happen. But this week it will be back, 9 p.m. Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, of course. So those of you in the UK, either stay up really late or you can watch it Thursday morning. And I'll see you all next week for another episode of Chilling with the Cooler. And as I said, stay tuned. Table's coming. New army's coming. New game is coming. Stuff's coming. It's on its way. It's always on its way. It's been on its way forever. But there's more. So stay tuned for that, and I hope you guys have a good week.